Well, hello, ma'am, once again. See, she's looking at me and I'm looking at her. She's sitting over there. So, hey, I want to formally welcome you. We are live right now, so everyone can see us.
Oh,
Um,
hi.
Look, I got to tell everybody. She said she missed the gym today because of us, so we have to make it up to her
I
in
did
some
not.
way, shape, form, or fashion, y'all, because she missed the gym. And if you follow this young lady on social media, she shows when she's in there getting it in. I mean, what's the name of your trainer in his company?
Okay, so my trainer name is Freddie Duncan, and
Okay,
his company is Get Wasted.
get wasted.
Get Wasted, like with weights. That's how it's spelled. Get Wasted.
Oh, with
And
the WI.
right.
Okay,
He's at I work out at Showtime Fitness over on
okay, okay,
Merriweather Road. I love it. He's a personal trainer, and he's a professional bodybuilder as well. Now, I will say this because Freddie got it going on, and I was like, "Listen, I do not want to look like you." He got all
yeah.
the muscles, and I don't want to look like no dude. I'm good, Just keep me soft and feminine,
I
but
got you.
tone, you know. So,
So tell us about this journey. Like you've been at it for a while. So what motivated you to go harder in the gym?
oh gosh, I was living in Atlanta, for a while.
Okay.
And when I transitioned here, now this is Shreveport is my hometown. And so
Mm-hmm.
when my family and I moved here, I developed a blood clot in my lungs. Um, it was very serious. People pass away from blood clots in their lungs often. And so the doctors put me on a number of steroids
Okay.
at a time, and I was up to about 245 pounds, and I was on blood thinners. And now I have been, an herbalist for a while. I know about the cleansing, the detoxing, the yada yada yada,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But when my when I was on all of those different steroids, this was the largest I'd ever been. I said, you know what? I want to get off of all of that. I just don't want. I'm tired of that.
Okay.
I just want to get off of all of that. The blood thinner they had me on was equivalent to rat poisoning. I won't say the name of it, but I stopped taking that day. The day I found out the blood thinner I was on was equivalent to rat poisoning, and I asked the doctor about it. I said, "Is this
Mm-hmm.
rat poisoning?" He said, "Well, yeah, technically, but it's not the same dosage." I stopped taking it that day. I didn't tell the doctor. I started taking red clover and burdock, which are two herbs that are very good for blood cleansing, and I went back every week so that my doctor could check my levels and everything. He said, "Oh, well, whatever you're doing, keep it up. I guess the medicine is really working. Just keep doing what you're doing." I said, "I sure will." I never told him I stopped taking the medicine. Now, I'm not telling anybody else to do that.
Right.
That's how I did it, because I just couldn't do it anymore. And so since then, losing the weight, cleansing, and all of that stuff, man, I feel great and I look good too.
Look, y'all heard it here first. So look, we here because this is the flower shop. We like to bring people in and show recognition for the things you've done and the things you've been doing. So we are on SGR 1.4 FM The Heat, something that you're
Yes.
really familiar with,
Yes.
and you are a radio personality. Well, and we say are because I think that never leaves you.
It never leaves.
Okay, so look, tell us a little bit about you being a radio personality when you started in this game. Because I'm sitting here, y'all, I'm nervous because this is a person that did this, that really did this and did it at a high level. So, like, what got you into being a radio personality? And tell us a little bit
Well, just
about
in
you.
media, period.
Yeah,
So my mother, she owned the only physically located black theater back in the day, right?
and that's here in
Out here
Shreveport,
in Shreveport,
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Okay.
She was the only physically located black theater out here. And so through that theater, my brothers and I, we learned everything about media. We learned how to operate the cameras, do the lighting, run the sound, directing, producing shows, all of that type, working with the board and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved out to Atlanta and I started working with a company, Westwood Wine Company, and I was doing some traffic reporting and different things like that. Now, this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s when I really got started really good. I was the youngest one there. And because I already knew how to work all the equipment, and I had a good old time with that, you know. And so this is back when radio was, I like to say when radio was real. We had the DJs, like out here there was, Cat Daddy and,
Yeah.
all of that, you know what I'm saying? Just, it was just a whole different feel, I used to do news writing and, news reporting, traffic reporting, sports reporting. I was on all of the major stations, out there as a reporter, from Hot 1079 to Hot 1079 to V103, the People Station, all of that different stuff, even WSB, the top AM talk station out there. So I had a great time, doing all of that. That's how I got started with that. A lot of the guys I worked with, Luda, which back in the day, like he was called on the radio, he was Chris Lover Lover. Chris Lover Lover and Poon Daddy. That was the slogan, him and Poon Daddy. And so this was before he became Ludacris now, but so I worked with all of the best, even Lil Jon, all of them, they were at the station at Hot 1079 out there before they were who they are today. So, and they were just homeboys,
And look,
and I loved it.
Look, what you mentioned, and you said in the late 90s. So this was pre like boom the internet.
Exactly.
So with you seeing it now and seeing where the media industry is now, do you think it was better when you started, or how do you look at it now? Just being on the outside looking in, I think you still are in the media, but compared to when you were actually, in the 90s.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's changed pretty much quite a bit, because now things are just, it's so more biased now, back then it was, as far as the reporting, is concerned, back then it was a lot about the music, a lot about the people. Now it's more about, how many followers we have, how many likes you get, and doing, stuff to capture that instead of just being, yourself and everything. And so, but I think each era had its moment. The way that things are now is the way that it should be for this particular generation, because we are more of a social, we're more of a social people. However, communication, we were so much better at communication back then. So even now, with us being on the radio, but we're also live on Facebook so that people can see us and everything. So, it just changed a bit. But as long as you have real people talking and doing and making it happen, I think it's better. It still works.
Okay. Look, do you miss being on the radio?
Yes. Once you have the bug, you have the bug. That's
look, I got to tell everybody, hey, she can rap, y'all.
Oh,
like, look, I was playing some music, and like before we started, she was in here kind of hitting it. And look, when I talked to her before, she was like, look, I think I was kind of talking to her, kind of gaslighting her. She was like, look, I can go ahead and spit one for you now. So you was a rapper, or you rap? Like, how would you consider yourself an artist?
Oh man, we used to, again, back with the theater, I used to freestyle quite often and rap. I used to rap with my brother, who lives in Atlanta right now. Shout out to Robert, hey bro. But but yeah, we used to do all of that stuff. We had as a matter of fact, a lot of the performers and stuff who are still around, who used to go to the theater, they still, they're listening to us right now. Shout out my guys, y'all know who you are.
Okay.
And everything. So we just had a good time.
That's cool.
But yeah, once you have the bug, you have the bug.
Okay.
I am a freestyle artist.
You heard she
I'm not gonna break it down for you right now.
Look, she said she a freestyle artist. So look, it ain't no pre-recorded, whatever. She gonna give it to you off the rip when she hear the beat. That's what I think she's telling me right now.
That's not what I'm telling you.
That's what I thought you were saying, Lady Genesis. Okay, that's what it felt like you were saying. Okay.
There's so many layers to who I am.
Okay, there's a lot of layers. So look, we're gonna try to uncover some of these layers.
Yes, sir.
Because throughout time, like I said, the late 90s, you actually got into radio, and there's been things you've been doing since then periodically throughout time. So the first thing we're going to kind of touch on, you were actually on a TV series that I'm going to show everyone, And I want you to talk about your experience being on Homestead Rescue on the Discovery Channel on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
So how was this experience being on Homestead Rescue?
Homestead Rescue was wonderful. That was a wonderful experience. It was an experience that I didn't even ask for. You
Yeah.
know, we knew nothing about Homestead Rescue when they contacted us. You know,
Yeah.
when we made the transition from Atlanta to actually living on the property, we put together a few videos, right? Probably about 7 or 8 on a
Okay.
YouTube channel, just so that our families could see what was going on with us, right? So my husband, he's from Michigan.
Okay.
And so we wanted, all of our friends and family in Atlanta to see, what was going on. These are our plans and things like that. We thought about what we wanted our lives to be like, when we reach retirement age.
Yeah.
I am retired now, but we wanted to live off the land. We wanted to homestead. We wanted to grow our own food. We wanted to raise our animals. We wanted to, whatever God provided, that's what we wanted. He provides the sun, so we have solar. He provides the rain, so we collect rainwater.
Okay.
And so when Homestead Rescue found us and we received an email, I received an email. And at first I thought that it was someone trying to scam us, because like, who just emails you out of the blue about being on a television program, right?
Right.
So it took me a couple of weeks before I just actually emailed them back, and they sent me some links to the show and all of that stuff. And I was like, okay, this is still a scam.
Right. Right.
But eventually, obviously, it worked out. And they came out to the property. They did some amazing things, for us. A lot of stuff that we were not even expecting. So,
Okay.
like, we live in a tiny house, right? That's a small 640 square foot home,
Yeah.
and a cabin. And so they set all of that up. They set up some rice paddies for us the first time when they came out.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you know how Louisiana could go through droughts and
Right.
all of that. So it was like immediately after they set all of this up, we went through a major drought and all kind of weather conditions out here, from the storms to the ice storms to dry and all of that stuff. And they contacted us again, like even the second time they came out here. This was back in December when they came out. We didn't ask them. We didn't find them to come. They called us and checked in and said, hey, we would really like to come back and check on things. And we were like, well, it's not prospering like we would have wanted it to be,
Yeah.
So it was very much kind of very difficult to see, to have them to come back out, because we wanted to be farther along.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they came back, they did it for us, and now we got a whole new system, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes when you get in a point where you're just going and going, and you're just trying to make it from day to day,
Yeah.
and you don't realize, like, oh yeah, we could have did it this way, until someone else comes in, and just steps in and say, yeah, let's build a rain tower. Let's do it like this. So they really helped out a whole lot.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So being able to experience that twice. Now, do you think there's going to be a third time, a trilogy?
No, I don't think so. I think that was just something new they were doing with revisiting some of the homesteaders.
Okay.
We were told that they received thousands of applicants like a day. So for them to find us,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Well, and we weren't even looking for them.
Yeah.
I think that is just, on that part, that's amazing. But also on the other end, there are so many other people who need their assistance and need help. I don't think they're going to just keep revisiting.
Right.
I mean, I love that idea, but I don't think so. I think
Okay.
now we just have to kind of take the bull by the reins and make it happen.
Okay. So, okay, Miss Genesis, Miss
Yeah.
Lady Genesis, Lady G. Okay, so look, we know that you also have been involved with the local sports team
Yes.
here in the city. And I don't want to tear the name up, but the Louisiana Rouxgaroux.
Yes.
So is this your first season actually working with them, right?
Yes, this was my first season working with them. Shout out to the Rouxgaroux, Roux Nation. Man, this was quite an experience.
Yeah.
So the assistant head coach and his beautiful wife, Mary, they both asked me to be a part of, working with the guys and stuff.
Right.
I sell these patches and I do healing work, and stuff, and pain relief and everything, which, as you know.
Yes, I had. Oh my God! Look, we'll tell them about that. I'll let you get this out, and I'm gonna tell them about that.
Okay, so so they asked me to, and the guy, the assistant head coach, T. Will, who's known around town, he was like, I want you to be right on the sidelines with my guys and stuff. And so I was like, okay, and then as time approached, he was like, "You got your stuff ready?" I was like, "Oh, you were serious about that?"
Look,
I'm like, "Yeah, dead serious." And so I was like, "Okay, oh yeah. I'm good. I'm ready for it." And so that's how that worked out. And I met a lot of good guys, a lot of good players. And I just kind of made I gave myself the title. I'm sorry, I gave myself the title of like the official low-key team mom.
Okay.
Because I fussed at them like, "You're not drinking your water. What is this? You got." They're like, "I'm cramping." Like, of course you're cramping because you're out here doing all this work and you're not drinking water. So, but I love the team. I love the people. It's something really good. It's something more that we can experience here in the city. You know what I mean? Something positive and everything. And so I absolutely love that whole thing. And a lot of the guys come and see me at my, in my office. And so we'll work on muscle sculpting and different things like that. So.
Okay. So look, like I say, we're going right along the line. So tell us a little bit about the people who may not know about Genesis Wellness, because we actually, get into that. Tell us a little bit about Genesis Wellness for the people who may not know.
Okay. So one of the things I do is I do locks. I interlock hair, but I also do muscle sculpting, detoxing, cleansing, pretty much all things herbal teas, different things like that. So when I have people who come, have a machine that actually breaks down fat and builds muscle, right?
Okay.
You're supposed to be coming to.
Yes, I am coming.
Okay,
I am coming because I need all of the above.
It breaks down fat and builds muscle at the same time. And like my room, I work out of Pretty Special Med Spa. And in my room, I call it the polishing room, right? So you go in there, it's like an actual workout. It's non-invasive. You feel like you actually worked out when you leave, So so if I'm working on your abs, then you actually feel like you have done, thousands of sit-ups, because it's equivalent to doing thousands of sit-ups. Or if I work on your glutes or your hamstrings or your calves or your arms, tricep, biceps, I even do facial sculpting, as well. It's the same thing, working out the muscles, in the face, tightening up, and things like that. So kind of give us an edge, a little, kind of give us a cheat code,
Okay, look. So for that service, for prospective clients, what would be the recommended treatment from you? How often should someone actually come to receive this treatment?
Well, pretty much I would say to start off with 6 sessions, but it all depends on what you have going on, right?
Okay.
So you can't come in there, we have to be realistic. Like, you can't come in there and your waistline is a 40 and you want a 25.
Right.
See, we're not going to get that in 6 sessions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's per month or per week?
So we have, you can't do it every day because it is equivalent to doing thousands. It works out those muscles 1,000 times over. So we have to at least give a 24-hour recovery time for your muscles and everything. So I have clients who come maybe 2-3 times a week or once a week. It all depends on their schedule.
Okay. So we're looking at 6 visits in a month.
Right.
Time frame. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Or more than that. It just depends on what you want, what the client needs at that point. And I always say, listen, this is not the go-to. This is a companion to what your program needs to be. So you can't go out eating fried chicken and donuts every day and then come in here, get on my machine. Like, I need to work that out. Because I'm going to look at you like, no. And I've turned people away. Who would come to me and say, "Oh, I want this detox and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about your regimen. Let's talk about what you do, and if I see that you already have stuff that you have at home, like I had one lady who came and she had like all of this stuff, like, oh, I have the, this and that my doctor gave me or whatever. I have this and that, and it's been sitting in my drawer in the kitchen. I said, oh, well, I'm not selling you a thing.
Right.
And she was like, what? I said, because what you will not do, you will not get my stuff and my treatments and then go out and tell people that it don't work. That's not what's going to happen.
Right.
So I need you to follow a plan,
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was adamant about that. Like, we're not going to just, I'm not about just selling you stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I was about that, money hungry or whatever, then that could be one thing. But I'm not. Like, I want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want you to prosper physically as your soul prosper. I want you to have, to if losing weight and being able to come off of medicine and everything, if that is your goal, well, let's look to your goal.
Yeah.
We don't have to do cauliflower and every day. We don't have to do that. But you sure can't do fried chicken every day. Now, I like me some, we just can't do that. You know what I mean? So there has to be some kind of order, decently and in order. We have to be able to construct our lives like that. I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
I understand. Look, this we here for. We want to give you flowers. We want to make sure you have, we want to hear it all. We want all the smoke. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I tell. We want all the smoke. So come with it. All right. So prior to someone receiving your service, do we have to go through a consultation process with you?
Yes. Of course. Yeah.
And what's your preferred method of being contacted for those services? Is it an email or is there a website we need to go on and book?
Genesis Wellness with faith.com is an email, but otherwise, I just tell people to call me, area code 318-592-5561.
Okay.
Again, that is area code 318-592-5561.
She totally changed her voice. She was talking another way, then she started talking to the mic. I think she does with her radio voice.
But yeah, people could just call me, or even, they could reach me on Facebook,
Okay.
Under Faith Randle. That's RAND as in donut, LE, or Lady Genesis, TikTok, and Instagram, all the medias and all of that stuff. So I'm very much easy to find at that point. But yeah, they could contact me and we'll go from there. I also do pelvic floor tightening.
Pelvic floor tightening.
Yes.
Okay.
So
expound.
That is a service where, like for a lot of women and guys too, but for a lot of women who have had vaginal birth and everything, and then as we get older with hormones and everything, a lot of the times, you laugh, you tinkle, you cry, you tinkle, you cough, you tinkle, and things like that. What I have, one of the services that I do is pretty much the same method. It uses the machine to tighten the entire pelvic floor from the rooter to the tutor. It's equivalent to doing thousands of Kegel exercises and stuff. So it's just a part of strengthening those muscles.
And that will alleviate the tinkle.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies, if you have that issue with the tinkle, we need to schedule and go see Miss Lady Genesis at Genesis Wellness.
Yes, sir.
The tinkle.
Yes, please and thank you.
Okay. The tinkle. Gotta make sure we put an emphasis on the tinkle. Okay, so
that's important.
Very important.
That's why I wanted to bring that up, because it's something we don't normally talk about, but a lot of women are experiencing that and just like, I don't know what to do other than wear a pad all day.
Right.
And I know this is a lot of information for a guy, but yeah, we got
paperwork in order.
This is important though.
Get the paperwork straight. Ladies, y'all know what she talking about, ladies. Y'all know what she's talking about. We don't want the tinkle. We want to make sure everything's secure. You have to take extra changes of underwear and stuff. Maybe have them on deck, in your bag or whatever, just in case. For situations like that.
We know how to get around that. Thank you.
Okay.
For your input.
I'm sorry. I think I just got on my. I'm sorry. Those when please. I didn't mean to offend y'all, but
you're good.
We, like the tinkle. We want everything to be straight. We just want to make sure y'all good.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So look, while we're talking about Genesis Wellness, we have a upcoming class that you will be actually that'll start on August the 1st.
Yes.
And it's called Get Locked In. So tell us about this masterclass, Lady Genesis.
Okay, it's a 2-day event, Get Locked In. I am going to be training ladies to not only just lock hair, but also how to start their own business in the lock world.
Okay.
I want to be able to pass on flowers to other ladies as well and try to help get them started, right? So they'll be learning how to part and install, cleanliness, just all the things dealing with starting locks. Now, I know a lot of people start like micro locks with like the braiding method, or like they'll do the 2-strand twist or whatever. And all of that is wonderful. All of that is good. However, we know as women, you could braid the hair, you could twist the hair. But at the end of the day, if your hair is, really, if your hair is like mine, and I have some, back straight from the motherland type of curls, but it'll swell up.
Okay.
And so we're left with locks, but then that big fat end, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to I want to teach them a different method they can use to make the lock tighter and to be a little bit more successful. And also I will have a referral program, because I have a lot of ladies who are trying to get in with me. I have a lot of clients now who, even if they miss me and they have to reschedule or something and I can't get them in right away, I need someone to refer them to. And one of my ladies who I was referring to, she actually left town. And so I have a couple of actually locticians who left town, who all of their people are trying to come, find someone, good and everything. So I do want to be able to, transfer, clients to them, so that the trainees will be able to get started. And I'm not just leaving them, like they have me, for a little while, even after the class, because I want to make sure that they are successful, because Lady Genesis got some other stuff to do.
Right.
And so when I need to be able to be out of pocket with some of my clients, not saying that I'm leaving clients, because my clients get like, you can't go nowhere and do nothing. I'm not leaving you. I'm just saying, whenever I have to go do something else, I want to have somebody reliable that I can refer them to.
I got you. And look, for those who may not know Lady Genesis, if you see her hair, how long has your hair been locked and you've been wearing your style? Or I don't know, I don't want to get the terminology.
How long have I been locked? I've been locked for 12 years now.
Okay, and did you actually do this yourself when you started as well?
Well, I didn't start my own. I started with a lady in Atlanta. She started mine, but I started my daughter. So I got locked in actually on her birthday, May 14th. And then I started my daughter's hair in September.
Of this past year?
No, of that same year. So she's 12 years locked as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
And how has this journey been for you?
Oh my God, wonderful. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first got locked, I was like, what the heck is that I just did to my head? That's how I was at first. But I appreciated not being able to do, not having to do my hair and, try to straighten this out and all of that stuff. I appreciated that part. And then so as the journey went on, I'm like, oh, okay. Now I got complimented all the time.
Yeah.
All the time about, like, what is that? That's different. Again, this was back in the day before, the way it is now. Like you see a lot more people now wearing their hair like this, And of course, locks have been around, but this particular way of wearing is kind of new on the scene a little bit, a little more, I should say. And man, this has been the best hair decision ever. I love it. And I don't know how long I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
At first I was like, oh, I'll do shoulder length, I'll do bra strap, or now I said, well, let me go to my behind. Well, I'm there. So now I'm just gonna keep going until I just get tired.
And from what I've seen, Lady Genesis, like a lot of people have like a motivator behind it. Like, did you have a motivation when you started your lock journey? Was it something like I want to see, like, or is it something you're trying to meet, a goal you were trying to meet? Like,
let me tell you. So I was in Atlanta. I was walking out of the grocery store and I saw this lady walk into the grocery. She was walking in as I was walking out. And everything about her was just beautiful and confident. And she was this beautiful dark skinned sister. Her locks were just flowing. It was like a movie. She was, she was walking in.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, and she was walking in, and she just had this. I turned around and followed that sister back in the store, and I'm staring at her through the produce, like, golly, what is that? And I walked up to her. I said, "Sis, I'm just, I promise, I'm not trying to hit on you, but
right.
oh my God, like, what is that, And so she told me the name of, what it was. And she said, look it up. And so I looked it up. And I was like, I was hooked ever since.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's what it was. And so it wasn't just about the hair, it was her everything. Just the way she carried herself. And she was so confident in that.
Yeah.
I love that. So.
Okay. Now, look, I know you're a very busy person. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Now, for those that are watching, look, like I said, I've been on this lady for a while, and she know what it is, and I'm still working on her, because like I said, that radio personality and that this lady in the media game, a lot of experience. She knows the ins and outs. So I have been working on her, y'all. So I need y'all to help me get in her DM and work on her for us, for the goats, because
I'm there for the goats.
Look, see, we put it's nationally. They hear you nationally on the radio, and they seeing you nationally. You saying it.
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
yes,
so is there
indeed.
anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
I would like for you to share your experience.
Okay.
From earlier when
okay,
you had a
right. Let's get it. Okay, so look, I feel like I was having a tension headache this morning. I was telling her we were kind of setting up, getting ready to do this interview, and I was like, man, I have a tension headache. It just kind of came from nowhere. So she's like, okay, man, sit down. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So she said, take your glasses off. So I took my glasses off, and I don't know what she did with her hands, but whatever she did, and she manipulated my head, I instantly got sleepy, and the pain that I was feeling, it was alleviated. Like, I feel it just a little bit now, but it was like kind of thumping at the time. And when she did whatever she did, you can go to Genesis Wellness and get it. But she did like a little massage, I guess, on my temple, and she did something, and it wasn't even 5 minutes, but I'm telling you, like, it was kind of like almost gone. So I was like, that's amazing. So what is that for people who may not know? Like, what is that, a particular type of massage, or?
Well, now that's a secret.
Okay, so listen, she can't tell you what that was, but look, it worked. I'm a living witness. This is not we're not selling. This is not a commercial, infomercial. This is what it is. This is real. It happened. I am a living witness. I cannot make this up, y'all. So y'all have to make sure that y'all get with Lady Genesis and go to Genesis Wellness. Not only can you get your hair right, you can get your body right and your mind right as well.
Yes, thank you for that. Now, I will say one thing, Genesis Wellness is expanding.
Okay.
And I don't want to give too much information, but Genesis Wellness is expanding far beyond the walls of the spa. I will say it that way. So I'll come back and give you the exclusive.
I gotta have it
when we actually make the transition. But okay. I have rebranded a lot of things.
Oh, wow.
And so more of that, what you experienced, I will be offering to other people as well. I'm really big in pain relief and just wholeness and wellness. So.
Okay, so y'all heard it here first. Genesis Wellness is expanding. Look, we're on the radio now. We're also live, so I can't, because I'm going to try to pick and prod, get this information. But she said she's giving us the exclusive, so look, I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to wait for it. Look, we really appreciate you coming through, talking with us today. As always, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence, and learning, and also being able to do this. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
I think that is pretty much it. Just look for the expansion. My partner and I with Honeybee Studios, we've been working on this for quite a while.
Okay.
So there are other things, that's in the ring. So just watch for it. That's all I can say.
Y'all sit back and watch, and look, get your popcorn ready. Hey, we're about to get out of here. I'm Shady Will. Like I said, Lady Genesis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And look, we go get out of here, y'all.